as a united and democratic country. Over the years, the Almighty God has made it possible for me to develop a bond with you, and I'm grateful for your support and understanding in the difficult period we have journeyed through. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our stewardship has not been without challenges. We have had to deal with the wave of insurgency that has swept through some parts of our dear country. Only yesterday, Government Science Secondary School in Yobe State was bombed by insurgents, killing our promising young children who are seeking education to build the country and support their parents. Let me crave your indulgence for all of us to stand up for 1 minute of silence to remember these young lads that have lost their lives. May their gentle souls rest in peace. Clearly, this has cast a dark cloud on our nation, but we will surely win the war against terror. A number of young men and women have been kidnapped by these criminal elements, including our daughters from Chibok. We will surely get our daughters free. We must defeat terror. We are equipping the armed forces and deploying special forces this time to engage the terrorists and end this senseless war. We must protect our country. We must save our people. I will do everything humanly possible to end this criminal violence in our nations. To ensure the long-term stability and development of the affected areas, government has launched 3 programs: the Presidential Initiative for the Northeast, the Victim Support Fund, and the Safe School Initiative. The Presidential Initiative for the Northeast focused on improving infrastructure and economic growth in the region. The Safe School Initiative is centered on creating a safe environment to encourage our children in the communities to acquire education. The Victim Support Fund is a partnership program with the private sector, and we have raised 60 billion naira, which will help to empower and rehabilitate the victims of terror. I promise the victims of these dastardly acts that we will continue to stand with you. I'm grateful to all Nigerians for standing with us at this most trying time in our dear country. Let me at this point also thank the leadership of our great party, the People's Democratic Party, for the opportunity you have given to me to serve our nation. I'm overwhelmed by the trust, confidence, and support of the various organs of our party, the Board of Trustees, the National Caucus, the National Executive Committee, the National Working Committee, the PDP Governors Forum, members of the PDP caucuses of the National Assembly, and others. This day afforded me the opportunity to continue the conversation of development we started together. We must develop our country. Infrastructure has been a major focus for this administration. We pursue the power sector reforms to this point of irreversible progress. Nigeria has undertaken a more transparent and corruption-free bidding process, attracting global commendation. The ongoing 450 megawatts Azura power plant in other states, funded by the private sector exclusively, is a success story in this transformation. We have also resumed development of our hydropower potentials with the construction of the 700 megawatt Zungeru hydropower plant, while construction work on the 350 megawatt, 3,050 megawatt Mabila hydropower plant is about to take off. Our power generation and distribution companies have now been privatized. We are firmly on the road to guarantee regular power supply in the months ahead. This, our bold move in privatizing our power infrastructure, is paying off. We are committed to environmental protection and conservation to reduce vulnerability to climate change. In this regard, we have embarked on a number of projects across the country. Of particular note is the African Great Green Wall project, where we have released about 16 billion naira for the implementation. The project will create a green belt across 11 states from Kebbi to Borno. In the past 3.5 years, the water sector has witnessed unprecedented improvements. Access to potable water is now 67%, up from 58% in 2010, while sanitation coverage is 41% from 32% within the same period. Major developments in water include the completion of 37 dams and rehabilitation of 10 with several other ongoing construction. The flagship Katsambila multipurpose dam, which is being built to contain flood from Lake Nyos, Cameroon, is now at 90% completion. We have also completed about 5,000 rural and semi-rural water schemes. We are reforming the National Urban Water Supply Programs in 12 states with 385 formal and informal irrigation projects covering a total land area of 118,000 hectares, cultivated mostly by smallholder farmers. This has yielded over 3 million metric tons of assorted grains and vegetables with a market value of about 45 billion naira. Before the advent of this administration, the railway system was practically dead. Today, we have revived the rail sector. The narrow gauge line from Lagos to Kano has been rehabilitated with improved coaches, providing regular services. The rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line is progressing with the Port Harcourt-Gombe segment, as well as the branch line from Kafachan to Kaduna expected to be completed fully by the end of this year. Already work on the Ajaokuta-Kaduna standard gauge rail line is progressing. The tracks of the rail line will be completed by December this year. Upon completion of the project in the first quarter of 2015, it will be possible for Nigerians to live in Kaduna and work in Abuja with minimal transport costs. The Itakpe-Ajaokuta Warri standard gauge line has attained an advanced stage with the track completely laid. We hope to commence full operation before the end of next year. Other segments of the new standard gauge speed train network are planned with contracts already awarded for the Lagos-Ibadan segment. There will be more of such modern and faster rail connections in the coming years. Already, discussions are now at advanced stage for the coastal rail line that will traverse through 10 states from Lagos through the south-south, southeast to Calabar. This administration has successfully completed the dredging of the lower river Niger from Barrow in Niger State to Warri in Delta State. The sharing news is that over 6.7 million passengers and over 1.6 million tons of cargo have been moved through this channel in less than 3 years of its operation. I'm happy to also report that our ports now operate 24-hour service, which has led to the reduction of clearing time and improved efficiency. When I assumed office in 2010, out of the 35,000 kilometers of federal roads nationwide, only about 5,000 kilometers were motorable. Today, that number has increased to 25,000 kilometers. We expect to complete the remaining 10,000 kilometers in 3 years while initiating new routes. I made a commitment to build 2 new major bridges across our 2 major rivers, the River Niger and the River Benue. Today, the new bridges over the River Benue connecting Loko in Nasarawa State to Ewoto in Benue State has reached an advanced stage of completion, while work has commenced in the second Niger bridge. Beyond this, my administration has concluded plans to recommence the construction of Bodo-Boni Road with 3 major bridges on the alignment that will link the island of Boni with the mainland of River State. Preliminary works have started on my administration's plans, reconstruction, expansion of the Murtala Muhammed International Airport. The road linking to the Murtala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos. Only a few months ago, work started on the dualization of Kano-Katsina Road. While many Nigerians are celebrating this marked improvement, we assure them that it will get even better as we progress. In the pursuit of integrated transportation systems, we embarked on the construction of 5 new airport terminal buildings and airfield facilities. We are also constructing existing ones. The reconstruction upon completion will lead to improved passenger processing and, of course, increased cargo handling capacity and enhanced airfield facilities that meet international standards and improve safety. These efforts have been met with global acknowledgement, including the attainment and retention of the FAA Category 1 status. In housing, we signed the National Housing Policy to kickstart the framework for providing more affordable homes for our people. We have also expanded the National Housing Fund to accommodate more Nigerians. We have started a revolution in the housing sector with the start of the Nigerian Mortgage and Refinance Company, a new initiative of this administration that will enable more citizens in the lower income bracket to become first-time home owners. Our partners, such as the World Bank Group, are supporting this with $300 million interest-free credit grant, while my administration will back it up with 100 billion naira bonds. We are already processing 66,000 mortgage applications for our young people. We have amended the PenCom Act to enable the pension funds invest in the housing sector. This will surely create a boom in the housing sector and create more jobs for our young people. In the Federal Capital Territory, we are rapidly building a befitting national capital by expanding and providing new infrastructure, developing 10 new districts and satellite towns to cater for the ever-increasing population. In no distant future, you will be able to arrive at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja here and proceed to the city center using the Abuja Light Rail. In addition to providing durable health, educational and transportation services, we are also collaborating with organized labor to build functional, affordable and social housing in Abuja. Other critical capital developments that have been packaged by this administration include the development of the ultra-modern World Trade Center, the Abuja Town, the Jabi Lake Comprehensive Center, the Centenary City, and the land swap. This private sector-driven infrastructural development will positively change the skyline of the city and provide the required office and residential accommodation, shopping and recreation, as well as tourism, and entertainment facilities of the FCT. In our determination to encourage much greater participation in Nigeria in the oil and gas sector, I took the initiative to enact the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act. As a result of this law, indigenous Nigerian participation levels in upstream and downstream activities of the oil and gas industry have increased by over 45%, thereby increasing employment opportunities for our youth. We have also succeeded in eliminating the long queues that previously characterized our filling stations through regular and sustained product supply. Gas infrastructure to ensure adequate gas to power and gas to industry is being aggressively put in place. Over 450 kilometers of gas pipelines have been installed over the last 3 years, and that 2,000 kilometers is planned over the next 4 years. Critical petrochemical and fertilizer facilities have been commenced, including the gas industrial park in Delta State, for which I am scheduled to perform the groundbreaking ceremony this Friday. That is Friday this week. This will create millions of jobs and make Nigeria a regional hub. In addition, as a result of government's favorable policies, the private sector is investing over $12 billion in the petrochemical sector over the next 4 years. Of course, this will surely generate jobs for our teeming young people. In terms of gas supply, we have grown from less than 500 million cubic feet per day 4 years ago to about 1.5 billion cubic feet per day currently. Our goal is to attain a 4 billion cubic feet per day over the next 4 years. We have changed the face of agriculture in Nigeria. We moved agriculture away from a development program to agriculture as a business. My vision is to create wealth for our people through agriculture. We are focused on encouraging the private sector to boost investment in the agricultural sector. As a result, the number of seed companies rose from 5 to 80 in the past 3 years. Private sector investment in the agricultural sector expanded by $5.6 billion across the agricultural value chain. We ended decades of corruption in the fertilizer and seed sectors. We developed a transparent and efficient system of raising farmers directly with subsidized farm inputs. Before our reforms, fertilizer procurement and distribution took from the needy and gave to the greedy. We restore dignity back to farmers. Today, 14 million farmers, of which 2 million are women, access fertilizers with their mobile phones through an e-wallet system. Nigeria is the first country in the world to develop an e-wallet system to reach farmers with subsidized farm inputs on their mobile phones. Several African countries are now borrowing this transparent and efficient e-wallet system for their own countries' use. Our national food production expanded by an additional 21 million metric tons between 2011 and 2014, a record exceeding our set target of 20 million metric tons for 2015. The Dangote Group alone has committed $1 billion in commercial rice production and processing. With all these developments, we are expected to be an exporter of rice in the next 5 years. This will be a new dawn in Nigeria. The benefits are showing already. from the records of our import bills. Our food import bills declined from 1.1 trillion naira in 2009 to 684 billion naira by December last year, even with our increasing population, a reduction of 40%. Nigeria met its Millennium Development Goal 1 on reducing hunger and extreme poverty 2 years ahead of 2015 target set by the United Nations. And for that, we are recognized and given an award by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. To sustain this trend, we are encouraging young graduates through the Nangrepreneurs program to go into commercial agriculture. We are also encouraging our students in post-primary schools to begin to see agriculture as a commercial venture through our National School Agriculture Program. My dear people, my brothers and sisters, one thing that remains a stain in this country, in our life, is corruption. It corrodes our efforts of development and of motivating competence in critical sectors of our national growth. We have eradicated it in the agricultural sector, and we will surely eradicate it in other sectors of our economy. Going forward, and that is my commitment, I will focus on continuing to reinforce institutions, building strong institutions, reinforcing institutions to tackle corruption, and also to bring to justice those that perpetrate corruption. Through the integrated payroll and personnel information system, for example, we have weeded out 56,000 ghost workers from the Federal Civil Service, saving 162 billion naira in that process. I have directed the ICPC to bring the perpetrators of this criminal act to book. And let it be very, very clear to public officers. We must live by example. We must fully account for monies entrusted to our care. In our journey to progress, knowledge is indispensable. Knowledge is power. This is why this administration established 14 new universities, out of which 12 are conventional universities and 2 are specialized universities, 1 for the police and 1 for maritime development. Under my watch, every Nigerian state has a federal government-owned university. In addition, over 500 billion naira have been spent through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund and the Special Needs Assessment Fund on various projects to increase access and improve the quality of infrastructure at the tertiary level of our educational system. To provide equal access and opportunities in education and ensure that no Nigerian child is left behind, we have established and equipped 150 Al-Majiri schools across the northern states. In addition, we are building out-of-school children's schools, including specialized boys' schools and girls' schools across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Fellow Nigerians, our country was faced with a major national security, humanitarian, and economic threat in the form of the Ebola virus disease, which arrived in this country on July 20, 2014, by way of a foreign national, Mr. Patrick Sawyer. Realizing the imminent threat, I declared a national emergency, pulling state, local, and federal governments into action, as well as individuals, to combat this disease. Without the quick action of the patriotic Nigerians in the First Consultant Hospital, as well as the cooperation of Lagos and Rivers States, where the disease occurred, working with the Federal Ministry of Health and the cooperation of all Nigerians, you could not have succeeded in overcoming this deadly disease. Fellow Nigerians, my dear brothers and sisters, we stop Ebola together. Just as we stopped Ebola, we are on our way to eradicating the polio virus in our country. We have reduced the incidence of new virus from 300 incidents in 2010 to only 6 this year. I promise that I will not hand over polio to anybody. We must end polio. Also, to encourage our teeming youth in terms of creating jobs for themselves and others, we are shifting away from pushing youths to be job seekers to youth creating jobs. And of course, we launched the UWIN program and the graduate internship scheme, the Nagrapreneurs Initiative, the 220 billion naira micro, small and medium enterprise development fund, and the 3 billion naira grant to Nollywood. This is empowering so many young men and women, young graduates, the creative industries, to own businesses of their own and employ others. We have supported the growth of industry through policy and action. We launched the National Industrial Revolution Plan and the National Enterprise Development Program as key drivers to bring about a desire in the industrial sector and to diversify our economy. Our new national automobile policy is transforming Nigeria into a vibrant hub for the automobile industry. Our own Innocent Motors is producing world standard vehicles, and Nissan, Hyundai, and Kia have set up factories in Nigeria and are employing thousands of our people. Our support for cement production is unprecedented. We have increased our installed capacity from 16.5 million metric tons per annum in 2011 to 39.5 million metric tons per annum currently. Nigeria has the biggest factory in cement production. We are surely on the way to exporting cement to other parts of the world. We will no longer queue up for essential commodities in this country. Our efforts to create an enabling environment for job creation in different sectors of the economy, including the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector, the agricultural sector, the housing and manufacturing sector, have yielded results between the third quarter of 2012, when we started tracking jobs created. By the end of 2013, we noticed that we have created 1.9 million jobs. To deepen our success in this area, I have created a presidential job creation board headed by the Vice President with the mandate, because the Vice President is working with the private sector, and the mandate is that they must find every way possible for us to create at least 2 million jobs every year. My brothers and sisters, our economy is heading in the right direction, and our efforts are yielding positive results. Our economy continues to grow at the rate of 6 to 7% annually, one of the highest globally. Our country is now the top investment destination and the largest economy in the continent of Africa, with a GDP of $510 billion, approximately 80 trillion naira. We are also the 26th largest economy in the world. As part of its effort to support inclusive growth and economic development in Nigeria, we with this CBN are creating different sums of money and being disbursed to our people. The sum of 200 billion naira have been disbursed for commercial agriculture, 300 billion naira in the power and aviation sector, 220 billion in the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector, another 300 billion naira in the rail sector, and will continue to deepen the economy and the financial sector in order to make sure that we sustain the growth of our economy and remain #1 in our continent. Dear compatriots, I promise as President that we will sanitize and restore integrity in our electoral process by ensuring that your votes are not only counted but truly count. We have gone to a great length to ensure transparent, free, fair, and credible elections. Elections have been conducted across the country with local and international election observers testifying to their transparency and credibility. On the international scene, we have advanced our regional, continental, and global objectives. We have strengthened our relationship with our neighbors, and in many instances, supported them to protect their democracy, security, and stability. We are serving for the second time within a period of 4 years at the United Nations Security Council. This is unprecedented in our national history. It has never happened. My brothers and sisters, this is a growing attestation to the acceptability of our country by other countries. In the first quarter of this year, our country celebrated its centenary. To prepare the nation for the challenges of the next 100 years, I convened a national conference where recommendations and resolutions were raised towards a more perfect union. We promise you that we will surely implement that report. 4 years ago, I made a commitment to advance the rise of womanhood. Today, I am glad that we have made remarkable progress in this regard, trusting in the potential of our women and reaping from their dedication and ingenuity. I believe that any nation that ignores womanhood cannot achieve its full potential. It's in this direction that I'm sure that women were given more opportunities in government, and I have not been disappointed. Specifically, I doubled the percentage of women in the federal cabinet and gave them more challenging assignments. The Nigerian Defense Academy is now admitting female cadets as regular combatants, and it's now possible for any Nigerian woman who is interested in taking career in the armed forces to rise through the ranks and become a full general. We must continue to sustain the banner of freedom and justice that we have held high in our country. I am proud to say that there are no political prisoners in Nigeria today. No Nigerian has been driven to exile, and no one, and I repeat, no one under my watch will be driven to exile. It is in furtherance of a peaceful, participatory, and inclusive democracy that has signed the Freedom of Information Bill into law to expand the frontiers of our fundamental freedoms. Let me reaffirm that under a Jonathan presidency, your views, no matter how freely expressed, will not send you to prison or into exile. I am convinced that I have kept my pact with Nigerians, and it is now time to look to the future. with your tremendous support, you have collectively done so much in the last 3.5 years. But to take our country to the next level, there is still more work to be done. History has shown that the path of honor for any true leader is not to walk away from his people in moments of challenges. We must stand together in adversity and overcome all threats to our development. We must defend our future for the sake of our children. So many things have inspired me in the journey to this moment. I want to appreciate ordinary Nigerians, especially young people, for the solidarity shown to me by contributing their meager resources to enable me arrive at this point. I appreciate the kind gesture of the Cattle Breeders Union, Meyeti Allah, the Market Women Association, who encouraged me by committing some funds to support me. In the same vein, I am touched by the National Association of Widows, who also encouraged me with their widow's mind. This labor of love from ordinary Nigerians has increased my appreciation of your solidarity, my trust in our joint destiny, and all we have achieved together this past 3.5 years. Therefore, after seeking the face of God in quiet reflection with my family, and after listening to the calls of our people nationwide to run, I, Goodluck Jonathan, have accepted to present myself
Shugaban kasa Jonathan, ci gaba da Allah. Yorùbá say make you carry go. Olórí orílẹ̀-èdè wa Jonathan, à ń bẹ lẹ́yìn yín ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀sán jọ. People say make you carry go.
Ọ̀gá Jonathan, ndị Igbo nọ n'azụ gị, carry go.
Your people from Niger Delta say carry go. Bros, carry go. Naija will be.
I thank you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Finally, Mr. President has accepted 17.8 Nigerians' plea that he should contest the 2015 presidential election. Siri.
The declaration, the president has just made it, and as we had expected, he talked at length about what he's been doing these past 3.5 years, and it's on that basis that he has now offered himself once more to continue and finish the job he started. This broadcast has been all over the world. We understand that Nigerians in the diaspora, particularly those resident in Los Angeles and California, have been viewing a declaration, have been viewing this broadcast, and they have also been showing their support for the president's declaration.
More support for Mr. President coming from different angles, and the president now, with the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, acknowledging cheers from the teeming supporters who have decided to come here to watch Mr. President formally declare for the presidential race. The president is grateful for the trust to lead. He has acknowledged challenges. He believes he's going forward, he's reinforcing institutions, and is prepared to do so many more things for the nation.
Yes, and in making this declaration, he just said that he believes that he has kept his pact with Nigerians, especially all those things he promised to do when he first put himself up for the position of being elected as president. And so he says he's kept the pact in the last 3.5 years, and so there is reason, there is a basis to continue. As you outlined, he expressed his gratitude to all Nigerians who accepted him when he put himself forward for election. But he was also quick to acknowledge that the journey has not been smooth sailing so far. He acknowledged the challenges, especially to do with the insurgents in parts of the country, and of course all the other challenges associated with a growing nation that is in a hurry to develop. But of course he drew attention to those areas where his administration has tackled and all the efforts he's put into the various sectors of the economy: agriculture, roads, the railway system, provision of water, protecting the environment. It was really a scorecard for me, wasn't it?
A big scorecard, I would say, a great one, particularly when it is at a time when many Nigerians are watching, when many in the diaspora are watching, when many outside the country are also watching what Mr. President really has in store. For some, they were even equally looking forward to what really and what is the style that he's going to use to declare. But Mr. President has actually come in a dynamic way. He came first appreciating the last 4 years. He equally quoted September 18, 2010, when he came here at this same Mingo Square, and also talked about 7 months after, when Nigerians actually voted overwhelmingly for him to go ahead in the race. And coming back again now, we have seen that Mr. President has indeed declared for this 2015 presidential race. This is really vote of thanks, I believe, coming now from Senator.
To dream about. You are welcome. As we march forward, we say give notice that those who are opposed to the nation state called Nigeria, from the APC to all others, we are coming. Let them be ready. Distinguished Nigerians, rise for the national anthem.
And so that's the declaration. We've come a long way, and we've had the president himself declare that he will run. Femi, just as we round off, two things here I want to quickly touch on. A commitment that he stated about fighting corruption. You heard the president talking tough about accountability in public office. And beyond that, one that interests us, you and I, is talking about the freedom of expression through the Freedom of Information Act.
Incidentally, that is just for you to note that Mr. President is already looking ahead. That if you are giving me another mandate in the next 4 years, now that I've declared to run, be prepared that he is set to tackle corruption as he has been doing, and to make sure that it is finally at least tackled to an appreciable level. And for the freedom of information bill, that is another way of telling Nigerians that this present administration is open. There is nothing that you want, there is nothing that you need, there is nothing that you need to know that you will not know as long as it is President Goodluck Jonathan's administration.
Everybody, open your mouth and sing aloud. Goodluck Jonathan, now you be the man here. We know what's about the luck. Now you we want to hear.
And so the presidential declaration has come, and we've all had today come and go, so to speak. Femi, last word from you.
No doubt about it, the 17.8 signatures that endorsed
17.8 million, right,
signatures that endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan are now glad. They are happy because what they have been looking forward to has now been fully realized.
And so for the thousands who have thronged the Eagle Square here in the federal capital to listen to Dr. Goodluck Jonathan declare, they're now making their way out of the square. Some are still staying behind. It's going to be extremely difficult getting out of this arena as quickly as possible because the crowds are still surging, even though the declaration has been made and what they've been waiting for, they've heard. But the crowds are still surging and people are still milling around as others make their way. The various groups are making their way out. And this is a very good point here to thank all our viewers who have been with us since we started this live transmission of the presidential declaration here at Eagle Square in the heart of Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital territory. And on behalf of Femi Johnson and all others in the outside broadcast team of the Nigerian Television Authority, we'd like to thank you and hand you back over to regular programming.
No vacancy in that rock. Goodluck Jonathan.